What's up, good people? You are listening to All Burgundy and Gold, everything powered by the urban sports scene and Fox Sports Radio on 96.9 FM and 1340 AM, Hopewell, Virginia. Your hosts are Wole, Glenn, and myself, Mo. What's up, fellas?
What's going on, Mo? I like it on this side. Mo hosting, I like it on this side. I'm sitting back on this one.
Hey,
I love it.
We here, man.
I love it. I'm proud of this dude, man. West Africa in the building. What's good, bro?
What's going on, good people, man? Well, they telling people what they can do for us real quick.
Hey, let me read some particulars off of y'all. Hey, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Also, for a little while, we're going to be on Google Podcasts until Google Podcasts shuts down. But anyway, just search All Burgundy and Go everything. Also, tweet us at ABG_everything. Hit us up on IG at ABG_everything. And like our All Burgundy and Go everything Facebook page. Hey, if you're watching this on YouTube, that's red. That subscribe button is red. Hit that subscribe button. Like this video.
Hey, man, it's time for the pregame. Here's what we have on tap. Tonight, we're going to talk about the Commanders' free agent signings and how Sam Howell and Cam Curl found new homes. Here's a few players that the Commanders have just signed. Linebacker, Bobby Wagner led the NFL in tackles last year. Tight end Zach Ertz out of Arizona. We got defensive end Dorrance Armstrong, Tyler Biadasz, Frank Louvu, Austin Eckler, Brandon McManus, Nick Allegretti, Clean Farrell, Marcus Mariota, D.N. Dante Fowler, and safety Jeremy Chin. What are you guys' overall thoughts on these signings?
And you can start there, bro. It's on you, Glenn. Go for it, buddy.
I think it was good, man. I think the signing, I thought they made a big splash in free agency. I thought they wasn't scared to spend some money. The ones that stood out to me, I've always wanted Bobby Wagner to be a Washington Commander, right? Now, when they pulled the trigger on that one, I was excited because I thought Bobby Wagner should have came 2 years ago, right? When they needed a linebacker. And then Ron Rivera and his organization and regime didn't want to pull the trigger on Bobby Wagner, and he led the league in tackles. You know what I'm saying? So you could imagine Bobby Wagner with the front four that they had a couple of years ago. Just imagine that defense, right? Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, Bobby Wagner, and my man, the young Jamin Davis at linebacker. That would have been a solid defense. That's your front seven right there. You know what I'm saying? So you had a solid defense if they would have brought Bobby Wagner in years ago. So now, but I think we talked about it on a previous podcast. Bobby Wagner coming in, he's still old enough and young enough that he can still teach some of the younger linebackers. They may pick up in the draft. But he also can still perform, right? Yep. And so you have a good veteran guy, a linebacker that can perform. Zach Ertz, what can I say? You have a tight end who really doesn't drop footballs, right? If he stays healthy, he has to stay healthy in order to help out whoever the quarterback is. And we'll talk about quarterbacks later. Which way the Commanders may go. But I like the Zach Ertz thing. Deron Armstrong for Dallas, you need a DN, you need a pass rusher, right? You let two pass rushers go. You let Chase Young, who's down the New Orleans Saints, who's going to have surgery here in a minute on a pinched nerve that he had with the Commanders. And then you had Montez Sweat, who got the bag in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? They're gone. And then the other two guys that were still here didn't do anything. Let's be honest, right? The ends stayed when they left, didn't do anything. So picking them new in was good. I thought this one was the biggest one. Tyler Biadasz from Dallas, the center position. We know the Washington Commanders had poor centers last year. Nick Gates was not the guy, right? Nick Gates was not the guy. And so Washington Commanders, I think the center position is filled, and they will pick some up. And then you got the other, you got Nick Allegretti from Kansas City. We know he was hurt in the playoffs, but at the same time, coming over to Washington now, that solidifies the offensive line. Add Sam with that, and so you got a different offensive line now that wants to run the football, right? That wants to run the football, and then you pick up Austin Eckler. I'm not really sold on this one yet.
You're not sure.
I got to see him perform. I got to see him perform. I know he's a touchdown. He was a touchdown machine. I know he back in the day a fantasy hero, but I need to see him become. What can he do in Washington, right? Because I put it like this. He's not taking Brian Robinson's spot. I put it like that. Is he a good serviceable backup? Sure. Could they probably mix him in a little bit? This is all a Lynn move anyway, but we'll see how that one packs out. And the one I was surprised about, I knew it was the Marcus Mariota move. I really was surprised about Marcus Mariota bringing him in. You bring Marcus Mariota in, why don't you keep Jacoby Brissett?
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of like. But go ahead.
That's what I'm at. Why you let Jacoby Brissett walk out the door to bring in Marcus Mariota? That's the one that I was like, man.
Yeah.
I give it a take it or leave it. I'm not big sold on that one, but the rest of the free agencies I thought was good. We'll get to Jeremy Chin a little bit later, but I thought the Washington Commanders did a good job with their free agency. Enough splash that we as fans talked about it. The media talked about it, so I thought Washington did a good job.
Well, like,
I like what they did. Like, I'm big on getting my man Bobby Wagner. Like, I'm big on that. Like, that's the one I wanted. I wanted Bobby Wagner. You know, Mo, we've talked about Bobby Wagner for the last couple of years, and I'm just the guy that it's wild, like how a responsible regime can identify a problem and tackle it, right? You don't have to, and you didn't have to overpay with Bobby Wagner. You didn't have to pay some crazy sum. You're getting him on a discount, but you could have had him on a discount. You could probably would have. I'm not saying he would have came here because obviously there are individuals in the building that he trusts, right? So he's played with before, but just to know that this team is actually identified and went after a Bobby Wagner. I don't think the Rivera regime went after Bobby Wagner. Not to say that, like, I don't think they went after him and talked to him, try to get him to come over to DC. But so I like that signing. I like Louvu. I like that pick. I just think that him and Bobby Wagner, Jamin, now you have speed and you have guys who are already rallying into the football. Like Coach Rivera talked about this, but never put in place players to do this, right? And now you have players who could actually do it. So I like the pickups on the defense. I think Jeremy Chin, arguably, you know, fans don't want to hear it, arguably could be better than Cam Curl, and you're not paying in the bag for it. You know what I mean? And Cam Curl didn't get paid the bag either, so it's not like he got the bag thrown at him. You know, he was under what we all kind of guessed. We thought he'd get maybe 10 mil. He was way under 10 mil, right? So, but yeah, I'm happy with the defensive pickups, to be real with you. I am. I think, but the offensive ones, I'm like, whatever. I'm not high on the offensive pickups, but you're in a rebuild. So I don't really look at it any which way. You're a rebuild. This is not like this is not the team that's going to hit lightning in a bottle, in my opinion. I think this is a year, if they want to start truly winning football games, I think it's like year 2, year 3, but that's me.
Indeed, man. If you're asking me, I think it was an excellent free agent period. I think they signed about 15 players and still have about $62 million left. As we talked to Lou a couple of weeks back, he said there's some adults in the room, and they were fully on display. I think the Bobby Wagner situation, although you guys may have wanted him 2 or 3 years ago, I don't think that was a situation that lent itself for him to be here. I think this situation with his familiarity with Dan Quinn and Ken Norton, and also his personal pursuit of his MBA at Howard University and having proximity to that, a lot of that went into that.
Good point.
You got a stud at linebacker. We have a future Hall of Famer at linebacker that you guys just acquired this offseason, who also was still very, very good last year, to the tune of leading the league in tackles last year with 180 plus tackles. At this point of his career, he's not the cover linebacker that he used to be, but he's the run stopper, and most importantly, he's the green dot in the middle of the field that can get everybody lined up the way they need to be. I think that Louisville addition was a hell of an addition because of the variety in his game that he possesses. He's also like another pass rusher, having 12 sacks within the last 2 years. And coming into his own last year in Carolina to the tune of a Pro Bowl nod. I think he had a Pro Bowl nod one of the last 2 seasons. So you're getting a player that's on the verge. He's on the precipice of continuing to increase his ceiling. Even though you guys don't like the addition of Austin Eckler, I'm in the minority there. I believe that he's a more versatile back than your starter. I believe that the first year we know what happened with B-Rob. Last year we know they kind of got away from the run game, but this is the thunder and lightning kind of attack now that you can have with Austin Eckler here. We know that he's with somebody that he's familiar with Anthony Lynn being the coach on the staff. I like the Tyler Biadasz pick in unison with the Allegardy pick, because you tackle 2 starting positions on the offensive line to go with Sam Cosby. Now that interior is strong to create some holes for Brian Robinson, because we know that he's a He's a long strider.
Yep.
He's not as sudden as we would like him to be, but that'll give him some time to giddy up and get downfield and get to the linebackers. And even though you guys are making fun of the addition of Marcus Mariota, I think they wanted a veteran presence. I think Jacoby Brissett with the new regime
Offense system.
coming in, new regime coming in, he would prefer to go back home, especially going back home to a team where he knows he's going to be a pseudo starter, at least to start off, depending on who they draft with the quarterback with the number 3 pick. I think that's an opportunity for him to get some playing time because he has been, in the backup role for the last couple of years, at least early on. It's somewhere that he's familiar with. It's the new head coach is somebody that he was teammates with.
Yep.
Right. So there's a lot of things that go on today. But like I have to give Washington kudos on all of the additions that they brought in because they built the team and have a lot of depth now. Right. This is a team that needed a whole what do we call it? They needed to turn over the roster. And they did just that with 15, 16 additions, right? With 15 new additions on the team. You got 2 D linemen in Fowler and Armstrong who have something to prove. They're team friendly deals, and if they perform, if they perform at the rate that they can, Fowler being a former first round pick, then you're getting more bang for your buck than you paid. So I think this is an excellent offseason for the Commanders so far in terms of building their team.
Yo, I got a question to ask you guys, man. With talking about the Bobby Wagner piece. We know Jameis Davis went to court. If you didn't hear, Jameis Davis went to court this week. He ended up getting he ended up getting off a little bit. Got $2,500 fine. $176 court cost, and then suspended jail sentence of 180 days. Now, my question here: does he get suspended by the league? And where do you play Jamin Davis now with Bobby Wagner and LaVue? Do you move Jamin back to the outside where he was at years ago?
I'll say this much: I don't think he gets suspended. Not for that. But I will say that he'll probably be outside. But they're gonna be creative using Jamin. We get kind of tackled and bogged down on how Ron Rivera and Jack Del Rio were using their linebackers. This is gonna be totally different. They're gonna be innovative. Like, they're gonna move D linemen around. They're gonna move linebackers around. It won't be like, will he be outside? They're gonna put Jamin Davis in a position to make plays. It will be up to Jamin Davis to make those plays. That's just how I look at it. You have a guy, Bobby Wagner, who's the quarterback of the defense. He's going to be on the field. He's going to be on the field. But Jamin Davis will be put in positions to make plays, to utilize what his God-given ability, what God gave him, and utilize that skill set. So that's how I look at Jamin Davis. I'm not looking at him like it's going to be outside, he's going to be inside. I know Jamin Davis will be put in situations to make plays, to help this defense make plays. And that could be him even pass rushing for all I care. You will see Jamin Davis utilized so much differently than we're accustomed to seeing Jamin Davis being utilized.
What's the question again, Glenn?
How do you see this team using Jamin Davis? We got Bobby Wagner, who's going to take his spot.
Bobby Wagner is the green dot. He's going to be in the middle of the field. He's the veteran. He's the one that's going to have everybody lined up. He's going to make everybody's job easier. I don't know whether you play him strong side or weak side. I don't think it matters. I think Jamin Davis came in with a notch on his belt coming into the league that he could rush the passer a little bit, right? Like he can get with his speed. So now we get to see that on full display because Bobby Wagner's in the middle, right? If Jamin Davis' strong suit is putting pressure on the quarterback rather than dropping in coverage, I think there's going to be a lot of zone play with how we know Dan Quinn likes to run his defense and whatnot. So he'll be able to have everything in front of him, and they'll be able to read and react and get to the ball. So I think the addition of Louvu alleviates a lot of pressure on Jamin Davis because Louvu has shown that he can get after the passer and he can get after the passer, and he can also support in the run game, right? He's young and he's physical, he's fast also. So they should be flying to the ball all over the place. I'm just excited to see what variation of the defense, what they do when they go to nickel fronts and whatnot, which 2 linebackers will be on the field. I think that's going to be the biggest impact on Jamin. Is he going to be one of the 2 linebackers on the field on third down when they're in nickel and dime packages?
And he may not, and that's fine. You know what I mean? And that's fine. Just utilize him. You could just utilize him in like third and long when you want to get a court, when you want to get a sack, maybe on blitzes. Like he has shown to be a good blitzer. So just utilize him the best way you can. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what we saw, how we saw Dallas utilize. Like everyone thought that Michael Parsons was going to be this flat out linebacker come out of Penn State. Nah, they utilized him in a totally different way.
I mean, so with all that being said, we named all of the guys that were signed, right? It's a bunch of guys that came in. I need you guys to pick one. Who is your favorite signing and why? Glenn.
All right, go ahead, Glenn.
Mine's
outside of Bobby Wagner.
Yeah, because I was gonna say Bobby Wagner.
Come on, man. Outside of Bobby Wagner,
that's good.
Know what the
that's
answer
good.
Is.
I know. Yeah. Facts, Mo.
Yeah, nah. Nick Aljardi from Kansas City. I think that's my. If I had to look at it, outside of Bobby Wagner, that is my key. One, because you had to shore up the offensive line, right? We know last year the guard position for the Washington Commanders was not the best at all, right? The guard position for the Washington Commanders was one of the offensive was terrible, along with the center. So you get a surefire quality guard who plays at a high level. Only concern is he's coming off an injury, but I don't think that would be too much of a concern going into as we get to OTAs and as we get into training camp. But I'm excited to see him play. He's aggressive, comes up well, moves people. And so what Washington's trying to do, what I think Kingsbury is trying to do, he fits right into it. So you need that aggressive offensive lineman to protect your quarterback, one, and to be able to destroy some defensive linemen and give you some good run support.
Well,
for me, it's gonna be funny, but it's the truth though. Brian McManus. I just feel like now when you go up to get for a field goal, okay, forget the 50-yarder. Before extra point, you're not you're at ease. You know what I mean? This is the guy who can make the routine field goal. Like that's the thing. Like I know we getting enamored with a strong leg, but
get them chip shots.
You don't want, you just want the chip shot because then you don't want to go in a situation where you're trying to make a comeback and your field goal kicker misses the extra point. Now you're chasing points. Now you got to go for two. You know what I mean? And we've had that a lot in Washington with Joey Slye when he was here in DC. So I think Brian McManus in terms of special teams because you're going to need to win this game on different phases of the game to win football games next season. Like, it's not just like this offense is not going to be a potent offense. You know what I mean? It's just not like it's going to have to be run a certain way. So, and that's my prediction. I'm not, it may be a potent offense. I could be wrong, but I'm just saying like it shouldn't be, in my opinion, looking at the situation, knowing it's a rookie quarterback and every situation isn't CJ Stroud. I'm going to come out and say like they're going to struggle offensively. And you're going to need the other phases, offense and defense. Defense and special teams to play a role. So that's how I look at it.
Absolutely.
One thing about McManus too, Brandon McManus. You mentioned the extra points. He didn't miss any last year.
And you're talking about a veteran presence that's made some clutch kicks. He's made some impressive kicks in NFL history, especially in that altitude in Denver.
Exactly.
For the majority of his career before last year he went to Jacksonville, right?
Yeah. But he mixes extra points though, Taj. You know what I'm saying? That's all I care
his extra points. Yeah, he missed his extra points are good. Perfect on extra points. He missed 7 field goals last year, but extra points were cool.
Like I'm cool with missing kicks. I want extra points. I want my extra points, darn it. Like that kid, Joey Slye is like scary. He's scary.
I'm going against the grain. I know you guys are not too thrilled about it, but
don't say Marcus Mariota.
I love the addition of Austin Eckler.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
If you ask me, I get why you guys say that. You know, he's not to me. You have a guy that's been a quality starter, a high production starter, a high, like close to 200 carries in addition to 75 to 90 catches. Yeah. The guy is multiple. I think he brings a facet to the game that Brian Robinson lacks in terms of explosiveness. Brian Robinson did showcase his hands last year to the tune. He had been saying that he could catch the ball. He just wasn't asked to. And at Alabama, and we saw some of that last year. But now you got a certified, bona fide guy that has that cachet in this league that he can catch the ball out the backfield. Plus, he doubles as a he can run somewhat. He's not the most impressive between the tackles runner, but he has experience with that. He's a veteran. He could teach Brian Robinson can stand to learn some things from him. And I'm not completely sold on Brian Robinson. Give it not because I don't think that he doesn't possess what it takes to get there. What I'm saying is we just haven't seen it, right?
Yes,
the first year because of the injury, the unfortunate situation down on 8th Street, and then last year for whatever reason, it just didn't manifest. He's had 2 years that mirror each other statistically, right? But for 2 different reasons. So it's still a variable there of the unknown. We haven't seen him play at an elite level. So like I'm not against Brian Robinson, but I'm not also sold on Brian Robinson.
Yeah, that's fair.
He can stand to compete, right?
Yeah.
He can stand to compete, but I hope Cliff Kingsbury comes in, and Cliff Kingsbury is not throwing it all over the park because he does that from time to time too.
He has throwing tendencies.
He has the tendency to do that from time to time too. So like and I believe that was why the addition of Austin Eckler is going to be super important, because on 3rd down or anytime they want to put him in on 1st or 2nd down, you don't know whether he's going to run or he's going to catch the ball.
True.
And he can always be there, especially for a young quarterback, right? He can be that safe haven on top of Zach Ertz across the middle of the field. So I think there's a lot of value there for Austin Eckler that a lot of people are not factoring in, because we have Brian Robinson is, the starter.
Yeah, but I think Austin Eckler is more like Antonio Gibson, how Gibson was used towards the end of the year last year. I think Eckler will be one of those guys, like you said, Mitch, coming out of the backfield, being able to catch the ball, being able to move. Now, you talk about Brian Robinson, you mentioned his statistics. Early on when Washington was running the ball, Brian Robinson was one of the top running backs in the league. He was in the top numbers when he was running consistently. At one point, he led the league in rushing, right?
But it couldn't be that long. It couldn't be that long, Glenn. The man only ran for 700 yards. It
was going for week 2, week 3. He was the leading rusher.
Come on,
but listen what I'm saying. But until they start throwing the ball around, I think he is that guy. I think he will be the starter at the beginning of the season. Not that I'm a homer or anything like that nature. I think Brian Robinson brings the toughness that Lynn likes as a running back. Now you can mix it in with Eckler. To me, Eckler over the last couple of seasons really haven't shown that.
He's not a tough runner. He's not a tough runner. I got that part.
Injuries.
I'm not saying he's a tough runner.
He's not the same. I mean, he's aged as a back. That's what happens.
Yeah.
And then also, don't forget, he had Kellen Moore, who also gets away from the run too. So
that too. That's fair. That's very fair. That 1 year, he almost ruined my man Justin Herbert. Continue.
Like, come on, man. Like that 1 year, like Eckler went from 900 yards rushing, another 600 to 900 yards receiving, 18, 19 touchdowns to like just fell off the face of the earth last year.
But what we saying, Glenn? Sorry, I ain't want to cut nobody off.
No, you good, man. You good. I mean, he's not gonna fill the shoes of a Curtis Samuel who left for Buffalo. You know what I'm saying? And I say that because the way that Curtis Samuel was used last year, I know it's not Sam Howell and all that, but he was the safety valve. And I think that's how Austin Eckler may be used within the Washington organization as a safety valve. Him and Zach Ertz. Depends on the quarterback.
And I would rather have a running back do that than a wide receiver trying to run the ball. Yeah. Even though Curtis Samuel did show some flashes, you know what I mean? Like a running back catching the ball in
a different offense.
I think is a little bit more effective than a wide receiver trying to tote the rock.
It's a different offense. It's going to be a different offense too. I read what Todd said. Based on the mock drafts, both offense tackles, wide receivers, linebackers are expected to slide. Your drafting needs to be or
you drafting for need or for the best.
Oh, sorry. Okay, thank you. Drafting needs are the best players. Thanks, Taj. I'm all about best player, but that's me though. I'm about best player. Yeah, I'm about best player. Taj, you already know what time it is with me. I'm about best player. So I'm gonna go back to what y'all were talking about Eckler. I think it's hard. Like B-Rob, like I think Mo has a valid point. So I think there's valid points. I think Glenn, you have valid points too. I think B-Rob, I am high on B-Rob, but that's me. I'm high on B-Rob because last year you saw it. But and I'm pro Eric Bieniemy. That's why it hurts me to say it. But he just took the ball out of dude's hands, so you couldn't really get an opportunity to see what he can do with the ball in his hands. Because we all know he's the type of back that needs the ball in his hands, multiple, like about 20 carries. He needs that. Like he's not a short back. So when you're a big back, you need carries. You know what I mean? Like I'm not comparing him to Derrick Henry. But if you gave Derrick Henry only like 10 carries, you're not getting the best out of Derrick Henry. You know what I'm saying?
But the thing that Derrick Henry can do is he could pop one of those 10. Like
Yeah,
Brian
but he
Boston
not.
doesn't showcase.
But he wears you down though. But he still wears you down
He
to pop
does wear
it.
you down.
Yeah,
He
He was
does.
yeah.
down.
But
The
you so
physicality.
but Robinson hasn't even got the point to wear you down. Like, you know what I'm
Right,
saying?
because he was the last. He was the last in the league in carries. He was 32nd in the league in carries.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, so anyway, that, like, to that point, that's what I'm saying. Like, so, but to your point, you don't know though, because he wasn't used. You don't know.
We just
So
don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. So what I think about Eckler, I think Eckler does bring, depending on how you use Eckler. Now, if Eckler is the guy on third down, I think it's fine. You know what I mean? And mix them up a little bit. Thunder and lightning. There's nothing wrong with using both running backs. We're in today's NFL, like, you know, the running back, that 20 carry, 30 carry running back tends to shy away from, unless you are Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, dudes like that, Saquon Barkley, and they're even trying to like take some of that load off Saquon, right? In his last year in New York. So like when you're those kind of even Christian McCaffrey, they try to kind of, they use them a lot, but they do try to use other backs. So I think there's nothing wrong with using having Eckler, Robinson still to me will be probably running back one, and then you have you still got Christian Gonzalez. Rodriguez out there too, who's gonna get some carries. So I just think that you're in a situation where you don't have to utilize all your backs. Huh?
I said we wish we had Christian Gonzalez.
I know, right? Yeah, the cornerback. But you know, like, I think they're in a situation now where you're gonna utilize all your running backs, and that's fine. But I think Eckler, I didn't care for Eckler at first, but now since I'm kind of warming up to it, I'm like, I mean, if you use him correctly, and like Mo said, he's been productive. I'm all about dudes who've been productive, so that I can't go against my word about a guy who hasn't productive. In the passing game, is productive. Even between the tackles, he can pop a big one. Now, granted, it's all about health. It's about how healthy is he going to be, because he's been hurt the last couple of years. And
just for like insurance purposes, if something was to happen to be Rob, you have a guy that can be a starter.
Yeah,
I think he's a notch above. You know, like I hear about using him like Antonio
more of a threat.
Gibson, but he's better than
likes
Antonio
more
Gibson.
of a threat. Yeah,
he's better than Antonio Gibson.
Yeah, and big time.
Yeah, he brings more value. You know what I mean? Like they both have the same Achilles heel, but like, yeah. But
I agree.
I guess I'll segue that to with the signing of Marcus Mariota. I think that was a key addition, right? Like, does that mean that the team is going to draft Jaden Daniels?
I'll let the Jaden people talk. Glenn,
you
like Jaden?
No.
You say no?
No, this doesn't mean they can sign Jaden Daniels. I'm still a Drake May guy. I'm sorry.
Are you a Drake May guy? Okay. I know. I thought
I'm a Drake May guy. Okay. You know, and I'm a Drake May guy because I think Drake May fits the prototypical quarterback. I do know what Kingsbury liked, the mobile type of guy. If you look at Kyler Murray and type things that he did with Kyler Murray, if you look at you look at what he did with Caleb Williams, you look at what he did with even Patrick Mahomes, right? He likes that type of guy. That's the type of guy he looks at. But the guy I think will have the greater upside for the Washington Commanders would be Drake May. And if they can do it.
Go ahead. Keep going.
Hard-nosed quarterback who's been in the system for a while, who has a longer period, a longer window that we've seen. To me, Jaden Daniels has been a flash in the pan. I haven't seen enough, right? I haven't seen enough to say he's consistent, will be consistent enough in the league. Yeah, we know Heisman Trophy. And let's be honest, Heisman Trophy winners usually don't do well in the league. Can we talk about that? That's facts. Heisman Trophy winners usually don't do well in the league. So again, with all that being said, and mobile quarterbacks, besides a couple few, don't do well in the league like that. So unless you can convert him into it being a passing quarterback, I don't think Jaden Daniels fits for this team. I think what fits for this team is a Drake May will fit for this Washington Commanders team. I know somebody say, Carolina, get rid of one Carolina quarterback, bring another Carolina quarterback in. But guess what?
They're different.
I'll take that.
They're different. They're different. I'm agree with Todd said. I like both quarterbacks. I think May is more of a project. I think Daniels is ready now. So let me answer that one.
Daniels has a chip on his shoulder, but I don't think he's ready now.
Let me answer that one. So I've heard that on just another show. Someone said that too. And I don't think Daniels is more ready than May. Like I don't think he's more ready than May. I think May's, and Mo, you can correct me. I think May runs more of a pro offense than Daniels. So I think that too plays a part. So I think when people say that, I'm like, one runs a pro offense, one runs the college offense. Now, granted, college offenses are now in the NFL, but if you really want to be in terms of the complexity of an NFL defense and complexity of an NFL offense, May is running an NFL offense. So that I don't really typically agree with. But I will say this about what I like about May. I feel like you can put May with his and this. Oh, I'll say this too. Also about May and Cliff Kingsbury. Why are people acting like May ain't athletic? Yo, this is like. I mean, is this like a race thing or something? I'm gonna keep it all the way 100. Like, is it because he's just a white boy? And they think he ain't athletic?
I think it's the reverse, though. I think it's the reverse. I think because Jaden Daniels is black and he won the Heisman, and we have that history of the stigma behind black quarterbacks. It's like people feel like they're purposely knocking Jaden Daniels down, but he has the accolade over Drake May. But what people are not thinking about with Drake May is Drake May has played with less in his college career.
I agree. That's what I'm saying.
He's played with less. Yes, he has some mechanical flaws, just like any young quarterback.
Yeah.
But you're talking about a kid that had pedigree coming out of high school, being one of the top-rated quarterbacks.
Yes.
You're talking about a quarterback factory type build, 6'4", 6'5", 230, 230. He's going to run a 4.6 40.
4.5. Yeah.
Which is athletic. Like I looked up the other day, he had more total yards and 3 less touchdowns than Jaden Daniels his first year on the field.
Yes.
Than Jaden Daniels' Heisman season.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Jaden Daniels, it took him 4 years of college, 2 schools, and to be surrounded by nothing but elite talent in the SEC to win the Heisman.
That's what I'm just
like.
saying.
I don't one way or another. I'm not.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too.
What I'm looking at, Jaden Daniels, the other 4 years matter to me.
Exactly. That's my thing. We keep ignoring the other 4 years. That's what gets me.
Those other 4 years
I'm not ignoring the other 4
years. Watching Drake May come out his sophomore year, true sophomore year after Sam Howell left, and only having one player go to the NFL and Josh Downs.
Yeah.
And this year possibly not having nobody go to the NFL from his offense, and putting up 38 passing touchdowns and another 7 rushing touchdowns.
All right, bro.
Rushing for over 700 yards. And people are now talking about, he played in the ACC, as if the ACC is boo-boo now.
Yeah.
So he's more prototype. He played the pro style. Like, he has ability that, don't get me wrong, Jaden Daniels could throw that thing.
He could throw it. He could throw that thing. He could throw it.
He has Malik Neighbors. First, he's going to be a top 10 pick.
Yes.
Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be a top 25 pick.
Yes.
You're talking about he's flooded with talent. He's flooded with talent. So I expected that. I think there's something to say about Drake May playing with lesser talent and still putting up numbers that prove that he's quality enough to go to the NFL.
Yeah, I agree. And at the end of the day, you still are playing against some quality. Like the ACC isn't great, but you're playing against Clemson, and they got and we all know Clemson got athletes. You know what I'm saying? Like
Florida State.
We know this. Florida State got athletes. You played against these dudes, and we're talking about you played Clemson when Clemson was better off, like you said, his sophomore year, and he was still putting up numbers. I'm just saying, like, it's easy. Like, that's one thing. Like, it's okay to ride for your dude. Like, that's my thing. I'm cool if you like Jaden Daniels, and I ain't talking about you, Todd. I'm talking about people in general. If you like Jaden Daniels, that's fine. But don't try to diminish what Drake May has done. Like you said, like, bro, play with lesser talent. It's like y'all want to ignore that. If another quarterback, you said, like, if another quarterback in another draft, and like say this team had, because this would just be a knock on Tua. Like, Tua got nothing but talent compared to another quarterback, right? You'll say that quarterback don't have nobody. Alabama got 2 number 1 wide receivers. That other quarterback don't got nobody. You're going 9 times out of 10. You're going to favor the other quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. So it's the same thing applies. Like, you're going to favor. Like, for me, that's why I like May over Daniels for myself. Like, Mo, you hit it on the head. I'm like, bro, he don't got no number 1 wide. He don't got no receivers going out who go get drafted next year. He don't got that. You got 2 first rounders. Like, I'm just saying, like, that's not, and like you said, the pedigree plays a part too. Like, he was deemed one of the best quarterbacks coming out of high school to college. In college, he was deemed one of the better quarterbacks off the rip.
This decision matters. This decision matters a lot because you do not want to be the GM that missed on this your first go at.
Yeah, agreed.
So, like, they have to.
And you
okay, he said he's not ignoring the 4 years, but we can't reward someone because we have less game tape on him.
Oh, got one here. My man got JJ Michael Long, JJ
Jesus
McCarthy.
Christ, Mike.
No.
I like JJ, but I don't like JJ in Washington.
No.
I love JJ though, man. I'm a Michigan fan, so I love JJ. JJ gets better every year. JJ, let me keep it a buck for y'all for JJ supporters because I'm a JJ supporter, but not like on the round like where folks are at. I'm surprised JJ's in the first round, but that's a whole different conversation.
What I'm saying is JJ in the first round.
He will be a first rounder in this draft, but like so, JJ is the type of quarterback that will need to sit for a whole year, and I think the following year JJ will be good. He can't be thrown out there off the rip. He can't.
Depends on what team he goes to.
It won't look good for JJ if he plays off the rip. I'll say that much.
But this is what I'm gonna say about one of the big knocks on Drake May, and I like Drake May, trust me, is that when the pitcher changes, he can't recognize and read, and that's one of the biggest knocks.
That's most young wide
receivers. But I'm gonna go to that too. That goes to Jaden Daniels as well. You have two young quarterbacks who are coming in the league. Nobody's really young that comes into the league as quarterback is NFL ready. I'm sorry. Right,
like CJ Stroud's like an exception right now. That's why I look at it. That's why.
But CJ Stroud's an exception because he was developed and what they played with. Sometimes some instances he's throwing the ball up too. He got decent receivers who go get it. And they play in let's not forget they play in the AFC South.
Yeah, but he was doing it against a lot of defenses. I give him credit.
Then you also got to take in the coach factor too. When a coach believes in you and have confidence and they make it easy for you, right? They make it easy for you. And so they made it easy for him. So that's why it's all about fit and game and scheme, right? Yeah. So with Jaden Daniels coming in, my thing is, does he fit in the city? Jaden Daniels fits in the city, right? He fits the culture of the city. Can we be honest there? Drake May, he fits, I don't know if he fits the culture of the city. I like Drake May because I think he has more of a post-out quarterback.
But we talking about the city. I'm gonna pull a RG3. He thought he was coming to Chocolate City, but they actually practice in Virginia. So Drake May's gonna be just fine. I mean,
you ain't lying, bro. You ain't lying.
So, but my last point on the Jaden Daniels debate versus Drake May not playing anybody before we move on to the trade about Sam Howell is if we look at the schedule, they lost to Florida State opening day.
Yeah,
got waxed on national TV.
Yep.
They lost to Alabama. They lost to Ole Miss. The three contenders that he was going to go against, the top three teams that he was going to play against this year, he lost to all three of them. He smacked Florida over the head, which is a down year for Florida. Over I believe he had close to 600 yards.
Drake May, right?
No, I'm talking about Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels. Oh yeah.
Jaden Daniels. He lost to Alabama. He lost to Ole Miss. He lost to Florida State. So those are the key games. He beat Florida. And they smacked Florida in a down year for Florida. Yeah. He had almost 600 yards of total offense and 6 touchdowns.
Yep.
That was the Heisman moment right there.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at him in the big moments, he lost those games. So the same thing that they're using against Drake May, same thing they're using against Drake May.
Good point, man.
If we really look at the schedule, we could say the same thing for them.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. One other thing with Jaden Daniels too.
Playoff. He didn't make the SEC championship. So.
Well, yeah.
Is it really that big of a factor if you really want to get into it? That's why I made the point earlier. It's like people that are a lot of guys that I've talked to about Jaden Daniels. It's like that reverse racism situation.
I think so. I agree.
We don't want the black. We're not going to let you down the black quarterback the year that he won the Heisman.
Yeah.
I get it, but the NFL is about projecting and what you're going to be.
Yeah, exactly.
What you're going to be.
They need to wait on him. My thing is he's too skinny. He's small. And if you're gonna run the dude in the NFL, let's be honest, right? If you're gonna run the dude in the NFL, my fear for Washington with Jaden Daniels, I'm gonna tell you my fear. My fear is Jaden Daniels will become another RG3 in Washington, where he will run the ball too much and get hurt. That is my fear for Jaden Daniels. He's not as accurate as he should be, and he'll take off and run. And my fear is he will get hurt.
Todd said,
and then you're wasting your second round pick on a guy.
Because Daniels or May, just asking.
I'm just saying, Jaden Daniels put up 24 points total against Florida State. Got beat 45-24. That's an ACC team. He only threw 1 touchdown that game. So if let's call Taj. I understand who you like. I can't get on you for who you like. Preference is preference. But
he say like both though. Taj say like both. I think he say like both.
Preference is preference, but let's not create situations to make one look better than most. But
Michael agrees with me. He's RG3, and I
don't think he's an RG4.
RG4. He does not fit in this Washington Commanders It's not.
But he also like Mike said NC State smacked Carolina. May didn't look good. He folded.
Both quarterbacks had games where they didn't look good.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you can choose. All right, that's it. All right. So I feel like we all, as like when you want to pick a quarterback, like everybody goes to the worst game because nobody plays great all year round. I'll give you an example. Look at CJ Stroud. Look how good he is, right? He played Michigan. He looks horrible against Michigan.
He looks horrible against Michigan.
And look where he's at now. So we can find, and that's what probably may have, like, instead of him going 1, that probably dropped him to 2. You know what I'm saying? Or dropped him to be the second quarterback being drafted. So I'm just saying, like, we can easily look for anything. That's what I'm saying. We can pick a game and say this dude didn't look good. He didn't come up to play in this game. So I just feel like it's all. This is my thing, and I think we all, Glenn and Mo, we kind of agree with this. I'm cool with the body of work. That's my thing. Like, I need to, like, if you've been there, I feel like quarterbacks who are good typically, other than like Joe Burrow, if you've been that dude, you're that dude. Like, you've been that dude, you're that dude. There's always outliers.
And Joe Burrow also had one of the.
Oh, bro, I'm with you, bro. I don't want to go there.
Deepest quarterback rooms in college.
That too. Yeah, they had deepest quarterback room, and also, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it. I don't care. Joe Burrow is also blessed in a situation where his skill players in each level he's gotten, and when he got to show out, has been better than a lot of people.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is, like, he is good. I'm not taking that away from Joe Burrow. But when you can go from what you did in LSU, and then you can go to a situation where T. Higgins, Boyd,
and they replicate that for you in the pros.
That helps you out a lot. You know what I'm saying? So
when he only had T. Higgins his first year, he was showing signs before he tore the ACL.
Yeah, no, he looked good. He looked good too. Not knocking that. I'm just saying that when we're talking about like level, like leveling up to being like it's a different beast when you got 3 dudes that you can just say, go beat your man, and they're all open. You know what I'm saying?
But I think Taj's question is key though, right here. I mean, I'm gonna put it up here.
Yeah,
I like both. It comes down to this. I think it really does come down to staff and what they want.
Yeah, I do. I agree.
I'm buying the argument against both. You know, again, I mean, can the staff teach? Who can the staff teach? Who can develop what the staff have, and what does staff want?
It's all about. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Get your
It's all about. So yeah, I totally agree with Taj. Like, it's all about the staff. But I've said this before. I want a quarterback that I feel like that could be good in multiple systems.
Because you don't know, right? Because you don't know. Because if Cliff Kingsbury comes out,
don't pan out.
He does what he's supposed to. If he does pan, even if he does
pan out, he's gone.
Commodity.
Yeah, exactly. So I want a quarter. So if you think so, my issue is that with Jaden Daniels, everybody looks at Jaden Daniels one way. No one ever says that Jaden Daniels could run a pro like a drop back system. No one talks about him that way. Everybody talks about him. They talk about him in the spread. That's how they talk about it. They talk about him in that spread style offense. And that's fine. I'm not saying that you can't win games that way, but there are going to be situations where there will be situations where you got to change the coordinator, or say the coordinator doesn't pan out. You go another coordinator. And now you're like, oh, snap. Now it's a whole different offense. Now you got to get used to this offense. Look, you see what you see. Justin Herbert had to deal with it. Are you good? Are you good enough to make that system work for you? You know what I'm saying? Are you at that level? Right. It's always a job of a coach to obviously tailor a game plan for that play to make them look better, to make life easier for them. But we do know, like, when you get certain coordinators, they're like, hey, I want you to do it my way. That's what happened here with Jay Gruden and RG3. They didn't do things like, they didn't do it like the Shanahan. It was a different system. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, you can't run my system. I like Kurt. Kurt runs my system. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. So that's my thing. I want a quarterback that whoever it is, you know what I'm saying? Because I do think, because I'm not going to say that Drake May ain't mobile. We got to stop that crap. That boy mobile.
You got to stop that.
We got to stop that crap. But I want a quarterback who can run my stuff. Because if you think Caleb Williams is mobile, then Drake May is mobile.
Mobile. Exactly. I mean, we've talked about the future quarterback ad nauseum. Let's take it back. The Commanders traded quarterback Sam Howell to the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle received Howell, a 4th-round draft pick, which is the number 102 pick in the draft, and a 6th-round draft pick, 179, in exchange for the picks in the 3rd round for 78, in the 5th round, number 152. Was that a win for the Commanders?
Yes. I'm going to tell you why it's a win for the Commanders, and not that I don't like Sam Howell, but you have a new regime that came in and they feel like they couldn't fix Sam Howell. It felt like they couldn't fix Sam Howell and get Sam Howell in order to be
the Sam Howell guy. And that's why now I see it.
Yeah, and like and I'm gonna say I like Sam Howell, but again, when you bring in a new regime, when you bring in new coaches, some pieces have to go, right? Some pieces have to go. Sam Howell was half of himself by the end of the year. The dude was broken.
True.
The dude was broken by the fault of the offensive line, Eric Bieniemy, Ron Rivera. You pick somebody. The dude was broken, and he got broken last year. For being within the Washington organization, do I think he'll excel in Seattle? Yeah, because he'll sit behind Geno Smith, right, and he'll learn. Yeah. He'll sit behind Geno Smith, and he ain't got to take the beating that he took this year, right? And then that's one of the things I'm looking for with this organization here. Was Sam Howell really going to get a fair shake? Let's be honest. We got a number 2 pick in the draft. Was Sam Howell really going to get a fair shake for a starting position job if you pick the number 2 guy in the draft? When you pick a guy who's number 2, you expect him to start.
To that point, Wole, that's why I think the Marcus Mariota pick is impactful. You have a veteran who's played in multiple systems, who's mobile to the tune of the way that the current offensive coordinator likes to play football, who can throw for multiple platforms, even though he hasn't wowed us in a while, right? But he has a lot of veteran experience. He has playoff experience. That would have bode well for a young quarterback rather than Sam Howell, who would have been on his 3rd offensive coordinator's 3rd head coach, trying to be the backup to a rookie. It'd be the blind leading the blind.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's an excellent move. You got an extra 3rd round draft pick after already getting a compensatory pick, where you had 6. You had 6 in the first 101.
Yeah.
So you got another 2 draft picks that you can either use as trade bargaining chips. Yeah. Or you can go make these picks and have a deep class of rookies that can come be the depth that these starters that you signed in free agency need. You have the right blend of youth and veteran leadership on a team so that they can they can compete with each other, and you have the older guys teaching the younger guys.
All right. So Mike, before I start, I want you to know that I am a Sam Howell supporter. I just wish him the best in Seattle. I think he'll back up Russ. I mean, Geno, he'll eventually be the starter.
Russ gone, man.
Yeah, I mean, Geno, he'll eventually be the starter. Because I think they're trying to get, from my word, I heard they're going to try to get rid of my man Geno anyway. So it is what it is. All right. So the deal for a third, you got Sam Howell for a 3rd rounder. This is not even a debate. It's a good deal. You have a 3rd rounder. Forget all the other stuff. It's a good deal because you got a 3rd rounder for Sam Howell. That's why it's a good deal. I don't think that a lot of people thought we were going to get a 3rd. This team could get a 3rd rounder for Sam Howell. They got a 3rd. He was a 4th round draft. It was a 5th round draft pick. Am I correct? 5th or 4th?
5th. I thought it was 4th. But
I could be wrong. But yeah, 4th or 5th. Yeah, 5th or 4th. But anyway, you get a 3rd. The 5th. Yeah, you're winning. You're winning because now you got a 3rd rounder in it. You know what I'm saying? For a 5th or 4th rounder, regardless of the fact. All right. So secondly, I don't care for Geno. I mean, I don't care for Mariota. I think he's trash. I won't even hold you. I won't even lie to you. I won't even play it off. I think Mariota, me and Ray used to talk about this often, about how this dude can't, when he has wide open, like Atlanta would have beat Washington when they came out when they had the home game here, if Mariota could throw the football. He can't, him as a passer, it scares me. So this is the situation for Washington for me is why, and I guess I'm going the Mariota route. Well, I don't like the Mariota signing because I would have got somebody else. I don't even care about whoever. I would have just got somebody. I'm talking about another vet. I just wouldn't get Mariota. Is that if you're a rookie quarterback, and it's for the fans. It's not about me. I think it's a rebuild. I told you it's a rebuild. It's for the fans. If Mariota sees the field, your quarterback was horrible. For non-injury, your rookie quarterback was horrible. And I don't think any fan, regardless of you understand it's a rebuild, you don't want to see that horrible football. Because this team, you thought Terry didn't get the ball with Sam. What do you think's gonna happen with Mariota? Right. Drake London wasn't killing things out there when he was throwing the football. You know what I'm saying? He ain't him as a passer. Does he have moxie? Yes, he has moxie. I'm gonna give Mariota credit. He has moxie.
I was about to say, don't do it like that.
Yeah, but we talking about throwing the football. Nah,
he's not a pure passer.
He's not
a pure passer.
So, that's the thing. I feel like for a rookie, it's a good confidence boost that Mariota is your quarterback because you don't have to look over your shoulder for real. The only time you're looking over if you're looking over your shoulder for Mariota, that means you have played horrible football.
But Mariota's here to teach. Let's get it together. Mariota is the ultimate spread quarterback, dating back to his time at Oregon, where he won the Heisman.
Yeah.
As Glenn said earlier, be wary of Heisman quarterbacks because that style that it typically takes in college to put up those stats is not reflective of the style that they play in the NBA and in the NFL.
Yes, it's college. You're right.
Right?
It's college.
It's college.
Yeah.
So hence why that type of quarterback typically fails in the NFL.
Yes. Totally agree.
For all you Jaden Daniels supporters. I'm not saying that this is what happened to Jaden Daniels, but this is why we're weary of Jaden Daniels, and we have to be truthful here. We have to look past skin color. We have to look past all of it.
Yeah.
You have to look at the facts. He ran spread offense at Arizona State. They gave him everything that he need. Like they gave him the keys from a young pup. They gave him the keys from a young pup. He had Brandon Ayuk prior to Brandon Ayuk leaving. He had Rashad White, Tampa Bay starting running back, who's an excellent running back out of the backfield, catching the football. Right? So there's a matter. It's things that weigh here. I think that Mariota's just overall knowledge of the spread offense is what made him the best candidate to be a backup quarterback. We don't ever want to see him on the field.
Don't want to see him on
whether
the field.
you're a fan or not. We don't want to see him on the field. But what he knows about spread concepts and what Cliff Kingsbury is known to do, I think Mariota is an extra teacher in the quarterback room there. And I think that's his value to this team. As long as he doesn't have to get on the field.
So here's the question though: if Mariota is just a teacher, do you have a 3 quarterback roster?
I think, but with that extra spot on the practice squad now, you probably are going to have a third quarterback, right? But that third quarterback does not need to be anybody that's in contention for right now, at least. We'll see how the rest of the offseason plays out.
Yeah.
And see who they bring in as competition based off who they draft, right? I think that the draft pick will dictate whether they bring in who the third quarterback they bring in is. So I don't think the Mariota pick is that bad. I really don't. I know why Wole thinks that because Wole never wants to see him touch the grass.
Yeah, I don't.
You don't want to see him inside of.
So let me be nice.
He only wants to see him outside of the white lines. He doesn't want to see him inside.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I think, and I said this before. This is what when they signed him, I wasn't. When they traded Sam Howell initially, like before I saw third rounder, I was like, damn, they traded him and they got Mariota. Yeah. That's the first thing I said. Like, but that's on third round. I was like, all right, that's cool. But I'm gonna keep it a buck. To me, Mariota's a third stringer. To me, as a quarterback, I don't even think it was a backup. I think it was a third stringer. That's how, and it's not. I will. That's how low I have. That's how low I think of Mariota. I'm keeping it a buck. That's how low.
I will say this about Mariota. If I'm going to defend Mariota one time, something is up with Arthur Smith. Mm-hmm. He didn't use Bijan Robinson right. He didn't use Kyle Pitts properly. Drake London was more of a vertical pass, a vertical threat rather than what Drake London should be. Mike Evans 2.0.
He should be like that. No, I've seen it. He should be like that.
Yeah, he should be Mike Evans 2.0.
He should, bro. He should.
But Mariota won. It didn't matter who the quarterback was, whether it was Ritter, Heineke, or Mariota. The ball wasn't getting out to those two guys.
Yeah.
And I think that's. This is the all burgundy and gold everything show. But that's why Raheem Morris made the moves that he made this off. That's why they overpaid Kirk. Because they needed a quarterback that can get the ball to these guys because Atlanta has decisions to make with those guys. They have to figure out whether they're going
to has some talent.
Huh?
Atlanta has talent.
They got a lot of talent.
They want to figure out what kind of talent they have because guys got to get paid soon.
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts' option is up this year, right?
Yeah, you got to see what you got.
Drake Mays is coming up next. Not Drake Mays. Drake London is coming up next year. Bijan Robinson. Yeah. Bijan Robinson, this is what Bijan Robinson should look like all year this year.
Yeah.
Bijan Robinson should have his tongue hanging out of his mouth this year.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it didn't work out. So I blame Arthur Smith partly for that too. So we're going to see what Mariota can do. We're going to move on to another
question. We got
the question is that you had quarterbacks out there, though. You had quarterbacks out there you could have got. I mean, I'd have took Jameis Winston over Marcus Mariota.
But you got to think of the offense that's being ran. You got to think of the we're not talking about just talent. We're talking about this is really for teaching.
Yeah, we got a question out there on a question says, so out of all the quarterbacks, who would y'all draft? I'm gonna start with you. Question from Mike. Mo, you can start off. Who would you draft? Is Caleb in this, Mike? Is Caleb in this?
Caleb in this. We know that's done already.
Oh, okay. I mean, not Caleb. Then you see all the quarterbacks. That's why I'm saying.
I mean, all the other quarterbacks, similar to Bobby Wagner. I said earlier, we know that one is done.
Okay.
Keenan Allen was at the pro day today.
He said no. He said no. He said no. It's not. He said, all right, between the quarterbacks, who would you draft?
Drake May. I'm getting Drake.
I think Drake May for the long term. I think Drake May has a lot, and he has a higher ceiling. I don't think Jaden Daniels' ceiling is that much higher.
No,
I think Jaden Daniels is the player he's going to be.
Yeah, he's younger too. He's a lot younger actually.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with me. I mean, what am I acting? It's Drake. It's Drake May. I've been saying this throughout. It's Drake May. If you're not giving me Marvin Harrison Jr., I'm getting Drake May.
Marvin, and this Marvin. Marvin Jr., dog. And that's how you know Marvin Harrison Jr. is elite. A Michigan fan. Michigan fan is
I know. That's how you know Marvin.
You know how I know he elite. Is that the reason why this Bama not doing any drills,
nothing,
no 40s, because he went to the teams and they were like, do y'all need me to run a 40? They was like, nah. He said, I ain't doing that.
We're good.
We're good. That's why I know he good.
No combine, no pro day. He was out there as a spectator.
They say he prepping for the season. That's what he doing. He prepping for the season.
Listen, man, generational talent there, man. In other news, man, safety Cam Curl signed a 2-year, $13 million contract to play for the Los Angeles Rams, reuniting with Sean McVay. From this regime. Do you guys think the Commanders dropped the ball with Cam Curl? And would you rather have had him over Jeremy Chin?
I think I said it already. But I think arguably you could say Chin could be better than Cam Curl. There's an argument to be made. There's an argument that could be made. I'm not saying that it's just because Chin in his time has kind of made some plays, like in terms of we call it impactful plays, right, Mo? Like not just the basic play, but impactful play. So you can make that argument, and in terms of dollar sign of franchise and Cam Curl compared to what you had to pay Chin, I think they made the right decision. So I don't think they made the wrong decision. I'm gonna say this again. I would have liked for Cam Curl to be here in Washington with Dan Quinn, but I understand the situation, and we said this already in the past on the pod that it's unfortunate that his numbers don't dictate what his market value could be. Yeah, so it is what it is. So Washington had to be smart. They had to be smart with their money, and this is what this regime is. They're being smart with their money. They're not going to just overpay Cam Curl Opus because what they feel he can be. There is a market value. The market value has been dictated, and arguably you're not even the best safety in the market anyway, because Simmons is out there, and you're not better than Simmons. I'm sorry.
And Simmons is not yielding $16 million now, coming off of his big contract.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's a smart move. I mean, I feel bad for him. You know what I'm saying? I just think that, his deal that he got wasn't the best deal in the world to me.
No,
but he had to deal what he had to do.
Hey man, I don't feel bad for
Washington hurt his feelings when they didn't franchise him, and he was hurt.
They shouldn't have though.
They shouldn't have.
I know they shouldn't have. I'm not saying they should have. What I'm saying, when they didn't, when negotiation broke down for him, he was hurt. His feelings were hurt. Anytime you go to Twitter and you just throw up the deuces sign, you're in your feelings.
He was already done before that, though. He was already done. The deuces sign wasn't. That was telling you he was done. He was already done with that.
Cam Curl realistically could not have looked at that market based off the last wave of safeties that signed. They were all pros or pro bowlers. They are all ball hawks or people that create massive turnovers, like disruptors. He's not a disruptor.
Mm-hmm.
No,
he was never a disruptor.
No.
Like in terms of whether they should have signed him or Jeremy Chin, they got Jeremy Chin for $5 million. Cam Curl signed for an average of $6.5 million. So that's better for the Commanders because it saves them $1.5 million. That's the first reason.
Yeah.
Jeremy Chin is a more physical player that'll match the identity of what Dan Quinn wants in a Cam Chancellor type of role.
Yep.
Yeah.
Although Jeremy Chin has digressed, over the course of his rookie, he came in as a high value pick out of Southern Illinois.
Yep.
In 2020, because he came in with like almost 120 tackles. Right. Yeah. He was a good supporter in the run. He was a blitzer and all of that for the Carolina. Yeah. But each year he has diminished a little bit. I think last year he suffered an injury or he fell out of favor with the organization because it showed that he played more than half the games, but his production dropped by like 50%.
But look at the organization.
Clearly there was something there. Clearly, there was something going on there, but we also know the Carolina franchise was in turmoil last year.
Yeah, turmoil. Yeah.
So they play good defense too. They have a good defense too.
You know,
so they have a good defense too.
And for some reason, it didn't click. The good thing about him is he has upside. He's still young.
Yep. Still young. Yep.
He's a physical player. The brand of football that Quinn likes to play, he can play. He's going to be the box safety. Now that they got the linebackers improved in front of him, the linebacker play improved in front of him. He's not going to be that much of a liability in coverage.
No,
especially with that cover 3 zone scheme that Dan Quinn is going to employ most of the time.
Yep.
Right? So I think it's a perfect addition. You save money. You got a player that is adequate enough to play the position along with all the other things you got. And
a player who needed a new home.
Happy here, he could go.
Well, yeah, and the biggest thing to me is a player who needed a new home. Nobody wanted to play for Carolina, right? Now you get a new home and new excitement. I think we'll see more energetic Jeremy Chin. New energy. I think you'll see a different feel and different flavor from Jeremy Chin than you had to.
You add in the fact that his favorite player growing up was the reason he wore number 21, and he's playing for the organization his favorite player is playing for. You know what I mean? Like that adds a little bit of motivation there, right? He had something to prove.
Right.
He had something to prove. So
I agree with Taj. The quiet is kept. I'm loving what we are doing on the defense side. I do. I like the defense side.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
It's a lot of depth on that defensive side.
He goes, Mike said, do y'all think Forbes will play better?
Absolutely.
Yes. I'm going to answer that. You want to answer? Go ahead, Mo. I mean, go ahead, Glenn. You said it
first. I think he plays better because there's better coaches in the room.
Mm-hmm. He plays better because there's better players around him. Simply put.
It starts with the coaches because the system will be simpler for him to play faster. So when it's simpler for him to play faster, look at the Dallas corners. They played faster. They didn't have much responsibility. They knew what they needed to do. And that's what Forbes that was going to happen to Forbes here in Washington. He'll have a better season this year than he had in the past.
All I'm going to say is look at the body of work with Dan Quinn and his corners. And that's all you got to know. I'm done. That's all I got to say.
Dan Quinn plays the brand of football that makes Emmanuel Forbes as valuable as he was to be the pick that he was.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
He's going to let his corners play off the ball. They're going to jump routes.
Yep.
They're going to use their instincts. And that's what we saw on tape from Emmanuel Forbes at Mississippi State.
Yeah.
I don't know what Jack Del Rio was on, what he was trying to prove, making a 170-pound corner try to press A.J. Brown on national TV. So it should be better just because of that.
I'm with you, homie. That's what I'm saying. I feel like for that question, I feel like there are going to be certain players that make a big time jump. It's going to be young boys. It's going to be Martin.
Yep.
I thought he got better as the season went on. Martin, and then you got
Forrest coming back.
And Forrest. Yeah, your Forrest, and then you have
back in his natural position.
Yeah.
On the outside.
Yeah.
He could be like Brandon Brown at that big, tall, strong, physical corner.
Yeah. So there's things you can do. Like I think they're going to be better.
St. Juice don't get these.
He can't locate the ball. That's what he can't locate the ball. That's just.
But he shouldn't be pressing it in a trail technique either no more.
Yeah,
right.
He can't catch either. That's a whole different.
You playing off man or cover 3.
Catch better is
off man or cover 3. He should be able to see a little bit more. He shouldn't have to be able to grab and hold.
And this staff will use more blitz packages and let players run downhill. I agree.
And when they blitz, they have 2 of the perfect linebackers to blitz. Jamin, that's his strong suit, and Boo was like top 3 in sacks at the linebacker position last year.
Because they man. Typical awesome Samoan. That's what I call him. That's who it is. Typical awesome Samoan.
Hard nosed. Give you plenty of effort.
Yep.
And plays to the whistle blows.
That's it. That's what you asked for.
That's what it is. But yeah, man.
Bobby Wagner about to mold these young guys, man.
I'm telling you.
That's the
key though. It's a quarterback. He's a quarterback. He's a quarterback of the defense. I'm like I said, man, the bloodline. Bloodline. He said Samoan bloodline. You're right, Tosh, for the ones up.
Bloodline.
But I'm with that. Like I to me this season, and I think Todd said it earlier, and we all agree. I think this team they made good moves defensively. I just think that's where they're gonna pretty much hold their hat on is defense. I think if they just build their team's defense, special teams, because again, it's a rebuild. I think folks gotta really hone in on that. It's a rebuild, not a retool, not a re-up. It's a rebuild. It's a complete rebuild. You know what I'm saying? Because everything's predicated on how your quarterback plays. Because your quarterback has to hit lightning in a bottle if y'all want to be what you want to be. But also, I feel like you got players that ain't gonna be all they're ready for, ain't gonna be down with a rebuild because they're gonna have years off their contracts. So eventually you're gonna have to consider, even after this season, or even in the midpoint of the season trade deadline, I can see certain players being traded, but that's a whole different discussion.
Yeah, that's a whole discussion.
Y'all know who better come to play this year.
Yeah, Deron Payne.
Yeah, y'all.
And,
I don't even call. I'm not calling him by his name until I see him. 94 need to come play this year.
Oh, that whole front four.
Also, you said 94. You better ask both of them, bro. Don't just do one.
Hey, the other one had plantar fasciitis last year.
No excuse.
He did though. He did.
I understand that, but no excuse.
The other one was fresh off $22 million in the offseason. All that crying he was doing prior to, and came back out and put a dud out there. 94 better show up.
Well, let's not give him excuses, man. I know what he played against, and I know what he had. Let's not give excuses. Play football. You went out there every week, right? You suited up every week.
The NC.
Go play together.
Mo, who the NC State linebacker though? I ain't checking.
I don't know his name, but he can go.
He can go.
He can go.
All right. I'm gonna look. Hey, Mike. I'm gonna look him up, bro. I'm gonna look him up because I'm all about linebacker play. I'm gonna look him up, man. I'm gonna look him up.
Now he can go for real, but like he's a day one starter.
He said Durag Allen and Payday Payne. You're right. He's a Durag Allen. He do got that look. Hey man.
Carolina's linebacker is Peyton Wilson.
Peyton Wilson.
Oh, okay.
He can go, but he's an automatic starter though. So if you draft him, James on the bench.
James on the bench.
And he ran 4.4.
Huh?
And he ran 4.4.
Oh shoot.
Yeah.
6'4",
238. He all of it, Wole.
Oh,
I mean, 6 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and I believe he had 3 interceptions.
It's called competition, man. It's called competition.
He all for it.
Look, man, I like James. It's called competition. You gotta go. You gotta go.
Hey, man.
I ain't married to nobody, bro. I told you I wanted. You already know where I'm at. I wanted Marvin Harrison Jr. So you know I ain't married to no wide receiver. Period.
It's all about W's. It's all about W's.
Yeah, I ain't married to none of these dudes. But anyway, man, let's wrap this show up, man. Hey, Mo, tremendous job, bro, in your role as me. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man. Tremendous big job. Shoes to fill, man. That's all.
Yeah, I'm saying, I appreciate you, my man. Tremendous job, man. So I'm gonna read this before we close the show out. Todd said that's the one that said could slide to the second round. Oh, he can slide to the second round. He said that. Okay.
He will be at the end of that first. Trust me.
No, man. If he slides in the second round, that'd be dope. That's a hard one because they need to get tackles in the second round. That's a whole different discussion too. All right, y'all. Hey, before we end the show, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio. Just search all Burgundy and Gold everything. Also, hit us up on X at ABG_everything. Hit us up on IG at ABG_everything. I like our all Burgundy and Gold everything Facebook page. Hey, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, man. Hit that red subscribe button, like this video, and give us all the love, man. We appreciate y'all. Anyway, this has been dope. Glenn, Mo. You know what I'm saying? We did the damn thing. Proud of Mo, West African. Hey, if y'all know about anything West African, go get y'all some jollof rice. You know what I'm saying? Mo, hey Glenn, get yourself some jollof rice. I just had some for dinner. Just had some for dinner. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel good about my life.
Change your life, baby.
It does. It changes your life. Anyway, you've been listening to All Burgundy and Gold everything powered by the Urban Sports Station, Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM, Hopewell, Virginia. 4 H's. You need deuces. We out, folks.